guys, how are you doing today? Welcome back to Random Lifestyle Vlog. So today we're going to test some new makeup. I have recently received my Natasha Denona mini Starlette palette finally. It is so annoying that we can't really get some new products like straight away here in the UK. This has recently appeared in the British shops, whereas there is like a new Natasha Denona palette already there. So I decided not to do like a separate review, but I did pick up a few item products I'd like to review anyway. So I decided to do like a kind of like new makeup review video. So apart from this Natasha Denona Starlette palette, I have two more new products to try. I mean, they're new to me, but they're also like relatively new because they were all released in 2023. So I also have this Natasha Denona High Glam Concealer, and I have this Tilbury Glowgasm face palette. I think this is actually a re-release of a palette that they sold like previously, but I didn't really have the older version, so I picked that one up. Okay, so let's go ahead and try the concealer first. This is what it looks like. The shade I picked up is YP5, which stands for, I think, Yellow Peach 5. From what I could gather. So this is obviously going to be lighter than my skin tone, but I prefer my concealers to be like generally lighter. I use them for contouring as well whenever I need to do that, so that just works for me better. So first of all, this is what the applicator looks like. I did apply this light coverage foundation on my skin so that you can still see some imperfections. I do have some like dark circles and a little bit of that redness over here. It's not really that bad today, as I told you, it just like comes and goes. So let's just apply this on one side of my face first. I actually drag my concealer a little bit like downwards here so that it covers that potential redness that might happen. But I try not apply like too much concealer anyway, so we're just going to blend it out. This actually blends out really nicely and you don't really need much, so a little goes a long way here. It does have like a really nice coverage, but it's very natural, so far I like it. I'm just going to apply this on my eyelid as well to kind of like even out the color. Okay, so I actually really like it. It is brightening. You can definitely see that this side of my face is like brighter than this one, but it does have like a nice natural coverage. I applied a little bit, it blended out really nicely. And I think this will be like enough coverage for me, but I'm just going to apply a little bit more to see whether you can actually build it up. So I don't really have like massive dark circles. I'm assuming if you have a little bit darker circles or like discoloration issues, you might need a little bit like more coverage here. So that's why I want to see if this actually builds up, and it does seem to build up quite nicely. So as I said, usually I wouldn't really use that much concealer, but I kind of wanted to try it out. So okay, it does look good. Let me just set it. Okay, so here's the comparison. So far I actually really like it. It's very blendable. You can just build a coverage, but even like a little bit can actually give you like a really nice coverage, and it looks very natural. So I definitely like it so far, but we're going to see towards the end of the video how much it creases, right? Okay, that actually looks really nice. I'm just going to apply a little bit of that concealer here and here on my chin. Since it's a little bit like lighter than my skin tone, I can definitely use it for contouring as well. Okay, so this is where we are. Now let's move on with the face palette, Glowgasm face palette by Tilbury. These are 4 skin and eye gilding highlighters. So this is what the palette looks like. So Tilbury had this Nudegasm face palette some time ago, and that one is literally like one of my favorites ever. So I really have high hopes towards this one. This is what it looks like. It is stunning, isn't it? So this is technically like a highlighter palette. It's all like very sparkly, but obviously this is like a proper highlighter. These two shades can be used as a highlighting blush, and this will be like a highlighting bronzer, right? So let me just swatch these shades before we go any further. So these are the swatches. They look stunning. Obviously these are quite like heavy swatches. Those shades are not going to look that intense on your face unless you really like build them up, I suppose. The formula seems nice as well, so let's try it out. I'm just going to start, let me just start with the blushes, because we have 2 blushes. As you can see, these are those 2 colors over here. So I'm just going to apply the blushes first so that you can see the difference between them, if there's any, like if there's anything visible. One of them definitely looks lighter than the other, so I'm pretty sure it should be visible on my skin. So let's just go ahead and use one of these on this side of my face. Okay, so the lighter shade definitely seems visible already, even though it's nothing like super crazy color-wise. It's very like natural metallic shade. I think for like deeper skin tones, this would be more of a highlighter than anything. So let me try the other one, the darker one on this side of my face. So let's see. So as you can see, this one is much more visible on my skin. I kind of need to blend it out because it's definitely a little bit too much. Okay, so as far as the darker shade is concerned, I would say use with caution if you have like kind of like my skin tone or anything lighter, because this one is it is quite pigmented and it is darker than expected. I mean, I tried this blush first and it was such a gentle color that I did not expect this one to be like so crazy. So I managed to like blend it out and it looks alright now. But yeah, just start very light with the darker blush, and then you can build it up, because I literally applied a little bit too much and I was scared for a minute that it's going to stay like that. So this is the comparison of both shades being blended to what I usually blend my blushes. So the darker shade obviously is more pigmented, is more visible, but it does seem like this one is like more metallic and more sparkly. Okay, so let's try the bronzer now. The bronzer on the swatch doesn't really seem very sparkly, so there shouldn't be any like surprises here. So let's try it out. I'm just going to apply some bronzer here, and then a little bit here, and then this part as well. Okay, so I like it. It's very naturally looking bronzer. It's warm toned. It's like definitely warm toned, so it might not be for everyone, because I know like on some skin tones this very kind of warm brown bronzer can actually look very orange, so that's obviously not the look that you want to go for. Also, I will probably say this bronzer is not particularly pigmented, so I'm not sure how this would actually look on a deeper skin tones. I'm not sure whether this would even be visible, to be honest, but obviously I'm just guessing here. If you have like deeper skin tone than mine and you tried it, let me know if this actually showed on your skin. Okay, so the bronzer is ready. I tried to build it up a little bit to see if the color will actually show more, but it doesn't really seem to do so. So yeah, let's try the highlighter now. So this is the last bit of our palette here. Ooh, very sparkly. So this one is very pigmented, very metallic, as you can see. It does give me a little bit of Ofra highlighter, kind of highlighter's vibe. It has this champagne-y undertone that should work for like most skin tones, so that's fine, but it's very metallic, so you have to like that glow. Obviously this is a Glowgasm palette, so you don't expect these shades to be muted or matte or anything like that. They need to be glowy, right? So that kind of makes sense. And now that I've blended it out, I actually like the look of it, but it's very kind of glowy, so you definitely need to like that vibe. Okay guys, so we're just going to finish this video with the eyeshadow palette, and this is Natasha Denona Mini Starlette palette, and it looks like that. These are like very pretty neutral shades, and obviously we're just going to swatch them first. Okay, so here are the swatches. That looks pretty much what I expected it to look like. It's very kind of like more like cool toned, very neutral. So this is going to be like a perfect kind of daytime palette from what I can see. So we have 3 mattes over here and 2 metallics. The mattes are actually in cream to matte formula, so they should be like very easy to blend. So 5 neutral shades only. The formula potentially very easy to work with. Let's just try and apply this on my eyes, and I'm not even going to think much about it. This should be quite easy. So I'm obviously starting with the lightest shade here in my crease. I was thinking maybe of applying this all over my lid, but do you know what? I actually like this about Natasha Denona. Even the lightest shades seem to actually show on my skin. Like, there are so many eyeshadow palettes I tried. Usually that type of shade, see, the lightest one, it wouldn't even show on my skin. So we're going to build the color up with this shade over here. Okay, so far so good. These shades actually blend really nicely. It's very easy to build this color up. I'm going to go even deeper with this darkest shade over here, the darkest matte. Yeah, I think it looks quite pretty. I'm just going to apply the darkest shade again in my kind of outer part of my lower lash line. And then I'm going to apply the lightest of the mattes here towards my inner corner. I'm just going to blend these together. So as far as mattes go, I think this palette is extremely easy to use. There are like 3 mattes, and they kind of like, there's nothing really crazy going on here. Like, we have like 3 shades, like lighter kind of shade, medium, and then the darkest one, and they're super easy to blend. There's not really much you can do with them, but it should just work, right? So let's try the shimmers now. We have like 2 shimmery shades over here, and these are the swatches. So I'm just going to maybe try and apply the darker one on the bigger portion of my eyelid. So I usually use my finger to apply shimmery shades. Okay, let me just blend the edges here. It does look really nice. I actually really like the look of it. And I'm going to use the lightest shimmery shade in my inner corner. And this is the finished look as far as the eyeshadows are concerned. So let me just finish the other eye and apply some mascara, and I'll be back with you to share my final thoughts. Okay, so I'm back with my finished makeup look for today. And let's just quickly sum up what I think about this product I tried. So I'm going to start, I'll continue with the palette now. So what do I think? Is it worth buying? I mean, it's a really nice palette. You can easily create this a very kind of neutral daytime look that's slightly more like cool toned. I actually really like the look of it. I honestly don't really have that many eyeshadow palettes that would give me this type of look, so I'm actually really happy with this purchase, more than I expected, to be honest, because when I first looked at it I was like, oh, this is quite boring, isn't it? But no, I do think that this is quite a nice look that I created. I personally really like it, and I think I'm definitely going to use this palette quite a lot. So is it worth buying? I feel the answer here is depends on whether you have palettes like that, because as I said, I don't necessarily have anything like this, but at the same time this is just a neutral everyday palette. If you're looking for something that will just boost your creativity or, I don't know, inspire you, then this might not be it. This is a very unassuming daytime palette. It's nice quality, very easy to use as well, so I guess it's good for beginners as well. If you don't have any experience with makeup whatsoever, obviously this palette is going to be super easy for you. I would recommend it as long as you need it, okay? I think everyone's different, everyone's makeup collection is different, and everyone's needs are different, so obviously depending on that, I think this is a nice palette. Now let's talk about the Glowgasm face palette. This one is very glowy, like, you know, the name suggests it, so I guess that's what we can expect. If you like this kind of like glowy look, then this is definitely something worth considering. I'm a little bit worried about this bronzer here. I'm not really sure whether this is going to be good for like deeper skin tones. I think these three shades would work perfectly on like any skin tone, but I'm not really sure about the bronzer. And if you're buying a palette like that, I'm pretty sure you want to use like everything in here, so that would be my only concern about it. And finally, the concealer. I need to report back that it did crease quite a lot. I mean, not like massively, but it did crease more than some other concealers under my eyes, but I did apply quite a lot of that concealer. Remember, I just built the concealer up to see if this will give you more coverage if you need it. So all in all, if you apply more product, it will give you a better coverage, but at the same time it will crease more. So all in all, I think if you have like more visible imperfections on your skin, I would definitely recommend something more covering than this concealer. This one is perfect if you want to have this, like, I would say medium coverage with like a very natural finish. It does really feel and look lovely on my skin. I think this is going to be perfect for dry skin. I think it's going to be perfect for mature skin as well. It's not drying, so that is good, but it does not really offer that much coverage without creasing. So I know for a fact that there are those full coverage concealers that will just, you know, cover all the imperfections without having to use like additional layer, and this will probably just work better than building this one up. But all in all, I do really like this concealer. I'm definitely going to use it a lot, and it's definitely something I would recommend to try. Okay guys, so this is everything from me today. Have you tried any of these products? If so, please let me know down in the comment section down below what you think about them. Thank you very much for watching. For more makeup related content, check those videos over here. I'm going to see you very soon. Take care, bye!